All right, my name is Mr. Rich McCombs. I am the chess club sponsor here at Statesboro High School, and I've been asked to just give you a quick introduction to the game of chess and everything, and the base pieces and how they move. Chess is no more than what used to be considered medieval battlefields. Some people look at it like right now modern day gang warfare, where you just never send pieces out without protection of each other. So let me show you the pieces. This one here is called the pawn. You will notice that you have 8 of these of each color. There is white and black. Traditionally, white will always move first. They move from the initial rank either 1 space or 2, depending upon how many the player wants to move them. But you always want to make sure that he is covered by piece, and I'll explain the rook here in a moment how he covers. He could have also come out 1 piece from the initial rank. After that first move, the pawn can only move 1 space at a time, so he is regimented in the way he can move. Now, if your opponent has a pawn come up, this is known as a block. The pawns cannot move forward, and pawn is the only piece that cannot move backwards. So he is blocked right now. The only advantage were to be that if the black player moved his pawn up here, the white pawn only attacks diagonal, and you take the piece and remove it from the board. Now, let me move on to the other pieces. This piece is known as what some people call the castle. It's more properly called the rook. He can move all the way across the board, but he cannot have another piece in his way. So he can move up here, stop. It would be your opponent's move. He can come halfway across the board, all the way across, or however else he wants to do it. But you notice he can also move back. He is one of the more powerful pieces at the end game. The other piece that some people call the horse, more properly called the knight, he moves probably the most difficult move. In fact, he's the only piece that can jump over another piece, but he moves in an L-shaped pattern, where he moves up 2 and then 1, or over 2 and 1, whatever it may be. So he is quite a good piece to be able to use. Now, we will also see the bishop. The bishop moves diagonally. He cannot jump over a piece. If the angle is clear, he can move across. If he is green, he would stay on green the whole time, but notice how he is always moving diagonally. And then we have what most people consider the most powerful piece on the board, the queen. When you initially set up your board, you want to make sure of 2 things. White rook is down here at A1, but the queen is on her own color. You notice how queen is white here, and on the other side, queen is on dark. Okay, so you guys got to make sure you set the board up to begin with, and usually that is the most confused piece. The queen can move like any piece on the board I just showed you, except for the knight. She can move straight, she can move diagonally, however else she wants to move. She is a powerful piece. Now, the king is the ultimate objective, though. Okay? In the battle, the king, if he surrenders, the battle's over. But what happens here is the king is very limited in his move. He can move any space that he wants to, but notice he can only move 1 space at a time. So he is limited. He's not difficult to trap if the offense is set up the correct way. Okay? So the object of the game is to get the king into check. But a lot of times what will happen is, let me just move some pieces ahead in the game here real quick. Where are we going here, Dave? All right, let's just say we move where the black bishop has the king in what we would call as check. Okay, the game is not over yet. The king can either move out of check or have a piece blocking that other piece which is coming at it, or of course if he could capture the piece. The object is to get the king into such a position that he can not move, he's in check, and get the game into what we call checkmate. So thank you for your time, and hopefully this was good for y'all. Sound good?
Awesome, thank you.